Okay, I'm Robbie McAllister, and I have the privilege today of talking with Ericka Hernandez, who is a DACA recipient, and she's a restaurant owner. And Ericka, we are so glad that you were able to join us today.
No, thank you. The pleasure is mine. Thank you for welcoming me here today.
Absolutely. Well, I wanted to start off by just asking you to just tell us a little bit about your story. Tell us about yourself and what you do, where you live, how you got here. Just feel free.
Okay, so I came here with my mother at the age of 6. We lived for about 2 years in the state of Georgia, and that's where we resided. And I went to school there, and I began to learn English. It was pretty difficult, just um, you know, coming into a new country, and especially being so young, you don't understand like what all is going on, around you, and you just know that you like moved and you're far away from your country, and and that there's like a new language, new people that look much different from you, and you don't understand yet what's going on, or like why you have to move and things like that. So it was pretty difficult. It was a pretty difficult journey. um
Where are you from originally?
Mexico.
Mexico.
hmm
How were you able to cross the border?
Through we have like there's I guess like guides that they call like the coyotes, and they're
Uh-huh.
yeah they're paid, and they travel a lot with people, and like they basically smuggle people.
That must have been a
Um,
really hard thing for a young girl.
it was. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm so
It,
sorry you had to go through
few,
that.
the few details that I remember of it, but yeah.
So
And
tell me a little bit about DACA and what DACA means to you and how you got involved with the DACA program.
yeah, so I guess being undocumented, it's just kind of like a vague term when you're young, like you don't know what it means, like but it kind of, I think that reality hit a lot of, sorry, can you hear me? Sorry, yeah, I think that reality hit a lot of young dreamers, especially when it was time to like for things like getting a driver's license, or when they were around that age, of getting like
Mhm.
driver's license, applying to college, just in high school, because if they're undocumented, they weren't able to do those things. So I think at that age, it was when it really hit me. I'm like, oh, I can't do all those things. Like, I'm not gonna be able to get a driver's license, or maybe even get like certain scholarships, or go to certain colleges because of my status. So when DACA came along, it was like, you know, it felt um I don't know, it's just something that felt like from heaven. It was ideal for what dreamers needed, at the time. Yeah, especially like I said, like a lot of people that realized they weren't gonna do a lot of things like get a proper job or things like that, and seek higher education and get driver's license, things like that. And through DACA, we're able to get a work permit, and have kind of like a partial status and work legally, pay taxes, get a driver's license, and it gives us more like a more peace, with
Yeah.
certain liberties that we get. We don't have to like kind of fear what our parents do, like if they're like if we don't fear deportation as
Right.
much as other
And
immigrants.
you've actually done that. You told me earlier that you actually started your own business. Is that right? I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
tell
So
us about that a little bit.
okay, so I actually wanted to become a nurse, but in the state of South Carolina, they forbid like dreamers to acquire licensures. So okay, sorry, they forbid dreamers to acquire licensures, and that includes like cosmetology, nursing, and other licenses along that line. And so I kind of like gave up hope because, as a student that I've been working really hard, like in school and stuff, and like even being in groups like Beta Club and Honor Society, that's what I was looking forward to becoming a nurse. And so I took about 1 or 2 years off. I only did like a couple of classes, but they weren't like college classes. Like I took like sign language class, and I continued to practice cosmetology to see if I could maybe try to get my licensure in another state. But it didn't work out. So my parents had a small already like food business, and then I decided that I wanted to like grow that because it was only like once or twice a week, for like a soccer field that we used to work in.
Mhm.
So that's where the idea came along, and I rented out a building, and I was able to actually, with the work permit that I get with DACA, to get a business license.
Well, congratulations on that. And I just want you to know, hearing your story touches my heart very deeply. I want to ask you a question. What do you think about the Supreme Court decision that just happened a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, I mean, it was really amazing. Like being a DACA recipient, since it's not, like a very settled in status. We're kind of in the limbo. Like it can be since it was an executive order by President Obama. Like it could be taken away at any time. It feels very uneasy, and like we're always in the limbo with our status. But knowing that we still were able to like renew our status, and like carry on with what we're doing right now. There's a lot of like fellow DACA recipients that are, with everything that's going on with like COVID-19 and stuff. They're like on the front line of things, like as nurses and doctors. So it's pretty good, that they can like keep doing what they're doing. And like same for me as a business owner, like that, it's the relief that I can, carry on with my business and continue to move forward.
That's fantastic. And I guess it goes without saying that you actually employ people in your business, right? I mean, it's not just you, right?
Yeah, for right now it's mainly my family. Like we live together.
Mhm.
So I'm like in charge like of what they're working. Like one of my uncles had an accident, so he was laid off from his
Mhm.
job, and he's able to do little things like at the restaurant and things like that. And same
Good
with
for
my mom.
you.
I have like a younger brother, so I'm kind of like they basically work for me.
Yeah, well, that's fantastic.
Yes, and right
Well,
now with
go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, and I do look forward to like employing like more people in the future. And yeah, like right now I'm like kind of like short staffed because of everything that's going on. We're still like
Yeah,
trying to, yeah, like
sure.
get settled in, and we just moved to a new location, so
I
just
understand. Well, now,
getting
what do
used.
you think, as you think, Erica, about the dreamers issue around the country? What would you like to see as the best possible solution for that? What would you like to see?
Yeah, well, I want like for DACA not only to be just an executive order, but like really like a law, just like like a bill, like for dreamers to continue to pursue further education,
Right.
and like not fear deportation, and eventually get a path to citizenship. There's
Absolutely.
like so many dreamers, they've been here their whole lives. They don't know another place. A lot of them like came even younger than me, like before they're like as
Yeah.
toddlers and stuff. Like they don't know another country, and they've been
Right.
working in this country for so long. They just want to like give back to their communities and like to the place where they're growing up in.
Absolutely. What an amazing story. Now, you probably know a lot of dreamers, and I was going to say, in your community, what do some of your friends think about the decision? Are they similar to you? Do they have other concerns?
hmm Yeah, I think a lot of there was a lot of like tension like leading up to the recent decision. But like I said, it's kind of the decision kind of like was there like a relief for a lot of us, like a lot of them are working in like hospitals as nurses
Mhm.
and sometimes in other states, and a lot of them are able to carry on with their jobs and works and stuff. So I'm pretty sure that they're excited to carry on with
What
their job without. Hmm.
what do you think are the greatest concerns among the DACA recipients right now after the law passed?
Probably the previous like threats to end DACA by current President Trump.
Hmm.
I think those might be some of the biggest fears, because I mean it is an executive order, and it
Right.
could be like the same way it was implemented, unimprovised kind of way, it could be taken away.
Well, I think you bring up a great point. And you've mentioned a couple of times that some of your Dreamer colleagues are on the front lines with the COVID crisis. I was going to ask you a little bit about that. What are some of the issues that the broader immigrant community is facing during the COVID crisis? Maybe that some of the other people are not facing. Can you speak to
Yeah,
that?
for sure. Like, a lot of undocumented immigrants are always afraid to even like call, go to a doctor, because they have a fear that they might be deported, and
Right,
they might have COVID-19 and they might be spreading it to other people, or even if they have it and they know it and they stay, quarantined, they might have like more serious health conditions
right,
and might actually affect them like even till they die or something. Hopefully not, but that's probably like one of my concerns with like the undocumented Hispanic community.
right,
And like not only that, like even not necessarily even just with COVID, but like with police and
right.
stuff, like getting involved. Like a lot of people like have been robbed or things like that, and they can't report police, or if they are involved in crashes and things like that, they're definitely afraid. Hmm.
That just breaks my heart, and I want you to know that it breaks the hearts of a lot of people in our country. We really are praying that Congress and the administration and the courts would make it right, for immigrants around our country. you know that's really all the questions I wanted to ask, but I want to give you an opportunity, because this will be uploaded on a YouTube channel that may be seen by who knows how many. It might be seen by hundreds or thousands of people. What would you like to say to your fellow dreamers, your fellow DACA recipients, your fellow immigrants, and even the broader community? What would you like to say? What's on your heart today to
Um,
communicate?
Well, I just wanted to let them know that thank you so much for hearing stories like these and opening up their minds and their hearts to all of our dreamer stories, because that's really, really important. A lot of people ask us, I've actually shared my stories in different settings with Will that we have known in common, um and that means a lot of it to us, like that people are willing to like open up their minds and their stories and supporting us and like advocating for us. So that like thank you foremost for doing that for us. And to my like fellow dreamers, to not give up, to keep moving forward, educate yourselves, keep working really hard, try to find other alternatives. Because, like, I know in some states, it's kind of like South Carolina, like you can't get certain licensures, but not to give up. I was able to move forward and um, make good profit of it now that
Yes.
it's over. And just we're supporting each other and we're keep advocating for other dreamers, and attending well, if there is rallies, because I know like everything's chaotic
Yeah.
right now because of, yeah, but yeah, I've spoken for a good bit of rallies now, and it's been, I always get like dreamers like that come like towards me, and like other fellow dreamers that have spoken there, they're like, oh, we're so proud of you for like speaking up and stuff. And yeah, and it means a lot to us. And I hope that they get inspired, or at least know that they're not the only ones like struggling, and that there are other alternatives for them to keep moving forward, and that that there are people advocating for us, and hopefully laws change soon for the better.
Yes. Well, I wanted to ask you this last question. as an American myself, an Anglo, that has lived here for many generations, I would love to know what you would like to tell our community, the community of largely European, people, background that were born here and all of that. What would you want us to know about your community, maybe that you haven't been able to share?
Yeah, like, well, I think that America is the land of immigrants,
Hmm.
and I feel like we shouldn't be divided. I feel like the current administration is trying to do just that,
Hmm.
is to divide people. But I feel like this land is a land of immigrants, and I feel that it should continue to be that way, a land of immigrants, even if your descendants might have been here longer than others.
Hmm.
I feel like it's good for all of us, instead of dividing each other by the color of our skin and like our status, instead of dividing ourselves in that manner, to keep moving forward and like working together to build an even better place to live in.
That is outstanding, Erica. I tell you, I just want to tell you on behalf of the National Immigration Forum and the Evangelical Immigration Table, we really thank you for, you know, taking your time to come on the video. And we are so proud of you for doing what you've done, and we look forward to the day where we won't have to have these kinds of videos, that everybody will be safe and stable. And we pray that that'll happen sooner than later.